At a Donald Trump rally. So why is it that now we are looking into who spoke at Kamala Harris's rally, and why is this very important? Now, I'll give you a hint on why it is very important. In the past, it's been noted that many candidates have misused campaign money. So now it's very important to note how the money was used. Where did the money come from? Was it worth it to pay someone this huge sum of money? Now, for Oprah's case, she says she was not paid as Oprah Winfrey, but she said that her people who worked at the rally had to be paid, and hence the 1 million. So according to Oprah, that money was and only for her staff, not for herself, because she's Oprah, she's a billionaire. What would $1 million do for her? But anyway, I'd like to come back to Uganda, because even here, a lot has been making headlines, even through the weekend. But before we do that, I would like to check on the gentlemen who are right here with me. Good morning, Jerome.
Good morning to you, Olive.
How are you?
I am well, and good morning to our dear viewer who is with us today on the 18th of November. I've also been told that it being the 18th of November, in a leap year, it indicates that we are left with only 43 days. To the end of the year. So those who are doing the countdown, they should officially start. Maybe many start the countdown to the end of the year on 1st of December. But here we are, 43 days left till we say goodbye to 2024.
Christmas carols have begun.
And we're only waiting for the radio stations to start playing the Christmas songs that made our childhood memories, because it's around the corner that the radios will be playing those songs. But also, Olive, you mentioned something about the aftermath of the elections, and it has brought me back to the fact that there are certain celebrities who have decided to get a sabbatical off X.
Yes.
Simply because they were supporting Kamala Harris, and many of them say Elon Musk used the platform to instead push the agendas of Donald Trump, and they feel it is no longer an app that kind of pushes free speech, or kind of gives them the freedom to also exercise what they definitely call democracy and lots of positivity. And the latest to also leave the app this time around, it's not even a sabbatical, but this one said she's completely off it, is Gabriella Union.
Yes.
Many of you would remember her in the famous Being Mary Jane,
or Deliver Us from Eva, Bring It On.
So she's one of those who are rallying behind Kamala Harris, and she decided to also, she actually wrote a long post on her X, which was her final post, saying she has finally left the social media app, meaning any other person who wants to follow her would find her on other socials, TikTok, Instagram, name it. But also, besides that, the weekend here in Uganda was a huge one. On Friday, we got some upset, especially as the football supporters, when we went and flooded the Nelson Mandela National Stadium.
Yes.
However much we had qualified for the African Cup of Nations, we lost 2-0. However, there was a section of Uganda Cranes fans who were not happy with the performance from the team, but nonetheless, we qualified, and we hope that the boys will pick up from that performance. And then there was a festival in Jinja. I've been told it's ending this morning. Many Ugandans flooded Jinja for that annual festival, which is in its ninth edition. So that festival was also one that attracted not only Ugandans, but quite a number of people. Then also, an interesting report, Olive, is that the Daily Monitor released a report saying 70% of Ugandans today are living above their means, meaning people are earning less
and spending more.
Now, the question is, where is the money they are getting to spend? Because when you look at the cost of living, you look at let's say the amount of money they have to pay for bills, rent, and when you look at their cash inflows, it does not balance.
It leaves a lot to be desired.
It's really good to be a Ugandan, I should say.
The math is not mathing, but even as a country, we are spending beyond our means. We have never had a balanced budget. We are always in deficit. So if the country at large is in deficit. What do you
about the
expect at
Ugandans?
individual levels? So the math is not mathing, and it hasn't mathed in a long time. But also, Uganda doesn't have a minimum income wage, and because of that, especially in the private sector, people pay according to what they see fit. And you won't still blame them, because entrepreneurs are saying they pay a lot when it comes to taxes, when it comes to rent. We have a law which stipulates that landlords should not be charging rent in US dollars or any foreign currency,
but it is
still continuing, and the dollar rate has not been really favorable. So when you put all those factors together, you will find that, yeah, it's actually only viable that Ugandans are going to live beyond their means. In Kampala here, if you want to have a place of abode that is kind of, what should I say, normal, up to a certain standard, you're going to pay some good money, and sometimes that will be above your means. But that's our country. Regardless, we move on to Studio B and check on to Uncle Robert Chirabo Nyonyatana. Good morning.
Good morning to you and Joram Paul Stonko there, who seems to be very excited this lovely week, I must say. But as
excited about what, Robert?
He's trying to keep his excitement, but the talk offset as I came in. Joram is very excited, I must say.
Okay.
He's very excited, I must say.
But how have you been? And anything happened over the weekend that was exciting for you?
Well, over the weekend, I was in Hoima district from Friday up to Sunday evening.
You were drilling?
Yes, and
you were drilling?
No, I had gone for charity.
Okay.
For charity, we were giving to the girl child in a number of public schools. So we were taking them sanitary towels, and we were donating to them. And they were a very touching story. I did know, Olive, that there is a girl who has reached senior 3, and she has never used a sanitary towel. This modern, you know, but has been improvising. So there were touching stories listening. You know, certain times when you're in Kampala, all seems very obvious. You get it? It is obvious. These are everywhere. You know, you can purchase. But
you know, Robert, sorry to interject, but even here in Kampala, it's not as obvious or as easy as it seems. Now, the sanitary pads are everywhere, but the money to buy them is not everywhere.
So there were very touching stories, and I want to thank Victoria University and their Vice Chancellor for having given a hand into this to enable the people that want to do charity do it. But away from that, for the people of Teso, today President Yoweri Museveni returns for a wealth creation tour and assessing government program performances such as the parish development model. So you should be waiting for the president, and we hope he will have the right assessment of this program, because government has come up with a number of programs, and the biggest challenge has been, have they performed? So if the president is in this area, we hope he gets the right assessment, because sometimes we still have some smart Ugandans. Then also, District Sibunyoro sub-region government donated tractors to them. Now, these tractors are for farmers to use. If you're in that particular district, you go, you get the tractor, you cultivate your land, then you're able to plant. So by and large, I think that is also a very good initiative. Now, you guys talked about the aftermath of America's politics. One thing I've come to understand is people know that there must be a winner and a loser in politics. But accepting defeat is a very, very hard thing in politics. Because I was reading some of the tweets, watching some of the interviews by some celebrities, but you're not saying we were reached, but you're looking at certain things that you may feel that both didn't balance very well. But there's always a winner and there's always a loser.
That's very true, Robert. And for me, you know what stands out? It is that in 2020, the Republican side of things was up in arms, saying that the election was rigged, and that's how we ended up with the January insurrection at the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. And then the Democrats that are now in power allowed that they lost. We've not had any talk regarding voter vote rigging. So one would wonder, when is the vote free and fair? Is it when someone loses, or is it when someone wins? And the Republicans are not answering that question. But then to the celebrities that are deciding to like quit social media networks like X, I've also seen, by the way, not only celebrities, The Guardian, a newspaper, also decided to close its account on X. And I have a question here, Jerome, before we move on. Does it benefit them, or does it cause Elon Musk any loss when these people decide to leave his platform?
I think there's something Elon Musk normally uses these days, that it's end of wokeness. They normally say it. So I think he's not moved by any of those. I've also seen how many people have been attacking these celebrities with lots of criticism, saying, so if you're leaving, then we do what? Then we do what? Because for us, we're not leaving the app anytime soon. So I think the celebrities are just being reactionary and trying to show that they've lost faith in most of their fans. Remember, many of them were rallying these fans too. But you see, these celebrities, let's say the black celebrities, it goes without saying, majority of black people voted for Kamala Harris. But what we also need to understand, that America is largely white, and the white population highly voted for Donald Trump. So it is within the numbers. We understand what they wanted, but the numbers were against them. Anyway, when we come back here to Uganda, there has been a great decline when it comes to the number of NGOs that are registered with the NGO Bureau. Now, in 2019, we had about 14,000 NGOs, and according to a report that Joram will share, a report by Daily Monitor, it shows that these have gone down from 14,000 to 5,000. Now, what this means is that all these NGOs that used to give money to the economy are now not doing that. And also the jobs that were created by these NGOs, 14,000 of them, are no longer in existence because we've lost about 9,000 NGOs. Why is it like this? Maybe that's something we need to look into. And as we get closer to the elections in 2026, the government has already warned NGOs not to receive donor funds, because some donors want their agenda is against the government's agenda. So there is that warning already in place, and we know what usually happens. Sometimes NGOs carry out activities that are a bit questionable, especially during the time of elections. But now let's move on and look into what Robert Shirabo has for us in the local news.
Well, I'll begin with the President's visit to Teso sub-region to assess wealth creation programs. Now, all is set today for His Excellency to return to the area in a new phase to visit and assess performance of government key projects within this area, including the parish development model. Today, the President will be in this region and tour a number of districts that will include Serere, Kabera-Byong and Katakwi district. There is anxiety as Teso sub-region hosts the President to view these programs and also push on the crusade of wealth creation. This tour will last for 3 days before switching to other regions, with the President starting from the district of Serere and ending in Katakwi, where a section of leaders and members of cabinet have teamed up to finalize his reception. Besides visiting and interacting with PDM successful beneficiaries, the President will oversee the commissioning of various projects in Teso. However, some leaders are optimistic that the President will pay attention to the matters of cattle compensation, fruit growing, among others. Museveni's 3-day visit to Teso ends Wednesday the 20th before switching to Karamoja sub-region. Moving on, the government has given out tractors to all districts of Bunyoro sub-region to support farmers in improving and increasing on their agricultural production. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robert Nabanja, handed over 2 tractors to each district of Bunyoro at Kakumiro district headquarters. The people of Bunyoro sub-region are largely dependent on farming, majority of them using hand hoes to cultivate their land. Now, government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has come up to their aid of the farmers and has provided these tractors. The handover of the tractors the handover of each tractor took place at Kakumiro District Headquarters. The Prime Minister, Robert Nabanja, cautioned them against tampering with tractors because they will risk arrest and the withdrawal of these tractors. The Prime Minister also said farmers will assess these tractors at a lower fee and questioned the caretakers against overcharging the farmers. Now on issues of culture, a meeting of Langong cultural leaders was dramatically interrupted when a clan leader pulled a pistol on colleagues after being asked to leave. Ambassador Dixon Ogwang Okur was eventually disarmed by police and taken to Lila Central Police Station to record a statement. The meeting, organized to prepare for the Atekar Festival in Soroti, had excluded individuals involved in leadership wrangles to avoid conflict. Tension boiled over when Ogwang appeared in the middle of the meeting. It took police more than 5 minutes to disarm the agitated clan leader. Ambassador Ogwang had driven at the meeting organized to plan for the Atekar Festival. However, fracas broke out when the leaders immediately demanded his exit, citing his involvement in issues of leadership that also caused problems over the paramount chief position. Amido Obongere called for a heated exchange, and Ogwang was very upset and then pulled out his pistol. After the tension, police struggled and managed to disarm him, but later the meeting continued. And finally, from the local scene, the Vice President, retired Major Jessica Alupo, highlighted the critical role of the church in development of the country. In a speech delivered by Government Chief Whip, Honorable Hamson Dennis Obua, during the fundraising drive for Vinca Cathedral, Alupo praised the Catholic Church for its contribution to education, healthcare, and other essential social services. The Vice President commended the Catholic Church for its transformative role in Uganda's development. She was represented by the Government Chief Whip at the fundraising ceremony. The Bishop of Fort Potro, retired Reverend William Mohaire, applauded Christians for raising over 2 billion to refurbish Vinca Cathedral. Fort Potro City Member of Parliament Alex Rukunda acknowledged Parliament's effort in raising funds for social service initiative. Monsignor Isaiah Mayombo, chairperson of the organizing committee, commended the timely completion of the reconstruction.
Well, now looking at the international news, turns out President Joe Biden has allowed Ukraine to fire missiles inside Russia. U.S. President Joe Biden has given the green light for Ukraine to use long-range missiles supplied by the U.S. to strike Russia. A U.S. official has confirmed the move, a major change of U.S. policy, to the BBC's U.S. partner CBS. For months, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been urging that restrictions on the missiles known as ATACMs be lifted, allowing Kyiv to strike outside its own borders. On Sunday, he reacted to the reports, saying such things are not announced. Missiles speak for themselves. Russian President Vladimir Putin has previously warned Western nations against such a move, saying it would represent the NATO military alliance's direct participation in the Ukraine war. He was yet to comment on Sunday's reports, although other senior Kremlin politicians described it as a serious escalation. Washington's decision on the ATACMs is couched in terms of being limited to the defense of Ukrainian forces inside Russia's Kursk region, where Kyiv launched a surprise incursion in August. In other news, Pope Francis has called for an investigation to determine whether Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, tackling the issue for the first time in excerpts from an upcoming book. According to some experts, what is happening in Gaza has the characteristics of genocide, the Pope said in excerpts published on Sunday by the Italian daily La Stampa. We should investigate carefully to determine whether it fits into the technical definition formulated by jurists and international bodies, he added. The book by Hanan Reyes Al-Qaid and based on interviews with the Pope is entitled Hope Never Disappoints: Pilgrims Towards a Better World. It will be released on Tuesday ahead of the Pope's 20-25-year-long Jubilee, which is expected to bring more than 30 million pilgrims to Rome to celebrate. The Argentine pontiff has frequently deplored the number of victims of Israel's war in Gaza, where the death toll stands at 43,846 people, most of them civilians, according to the territory's Ministry of Health. Now moving back to Africa, in a major turn of events, a mountain in the Katanga region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo collapsed that exposed massive amounts of copper. A video capturing the dramatic collapse of the mountain has surfaced on various social media platforms, showing a large crowd present at the scene as the mountain collapses, with people running for safety. The Katanga region of the Democratic Republic of Congo is known for its vast mineral wealth. It is situated within Africa's Copper Belt, a 450-kilometer zone running from northwest Luansia in Zambia to Katanga in the Congo. For a century, this region has been a major hub for copper mining. In the 1950s, it was the world's largest copper producer. Currently, the region contributes more than 10% of the world's copper reserves, primarily secured from late Precambrian sedimentary deposits. The copper reserves are a major contributor to the economies of Zambia and Congo that promote infrastructure development and provides job opportunities in the region. Well, now we come back from the local and international news. Let's look at the press review.
Well, starting off with the New Vision on the front page, it says something about minerals. Government loses billions over experts. Uganda has only 8 inspectors for 100 mines, according to what the New Vision is reporting. Now, MTN clarifies on tax disputes. Also, at the front page of the New Vision is the MTN CEO Sylvia Molinge. Now, the 4-acre model, Museveni asks Chibale residents to emulate Minister Byamukama. At the front page, you can see the president addressing the many people that were at the 4-acre model launch in the Chibale sub-region. Now, also, Kiplimo breaks 15-kilometer world record. Find more details in today's New Vision. Mulago Hospital on spot over 6 billion shillings water bill. Then grow supplement, more money available for women entrepreneurs. More of that is in today's New Vision. Now, Owino Market floods as Nachivobo channel is blocked. Find more of that as well in the New Vision. After the Daily Monitor, collapse of the NGO sector. Now boxed into a corner, according to the NGO Bureau, which regulates the sector under the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the number of registered NGOs in Uganda drastically declined from 14,000 in 2019 to 5,021 by August 2023, which has dealt a heavy blow to the economy that needs the sector for employment and financial inflows. Then, do you know me? Ambassador Okul faces it rough at Lango Leaders event. Police struggle to disarm Uganda's charge the affairs in Khartoum, Sudan, and also the former deputy ambassador to the United States, Dixon Ogwang Okul, at Lango Cultural Center in Lira City, Lira District yesterday. This was after Ambassador Okul allegedly drew a pistol during the event. Now, Kamya storms the National Forestry Authority offices over forest giveaways. And in the regional news, Teso orange farmers await Museveni with a bucket full of complaints. Then also in the other news, Panorama, Trump, Uganda second guesses his presidency. And then also healthy living, why HIV fight in Kwanya has low success rates. Find more of that in the Daily Monitor. To Kenya now, the Daily Nation. Matiang'i taps Botswana polls experts. Lucrative, the former CS has committed to a retainer fee of 32 million Kenyan shillings in deal with Canadian firm. And then also the former Interior Minister Fred Matiang'i has signed a contract with a firm led by ex-Israel Mossad agent Ari Ben Maneshe, who powered the surprise victory of Mr. Duma Boko in recent Botswana polls as he seeks to unseat President William Ruto come the 2027 elections. Now, auctioneers go after Senator over the 1.25 million Kenyan shillings rent areas. Then in politics, scramble for Uhuru as Mount Kenya political volcano erupts. And then more Kenyans have sunk into poverty, according to a new report. 20.16 million Kenyans is the number who have lived in overall conditions of poverty in 2022, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics report. And then you can find more of the new elected Botswana President Duma Boko and Dr. Matiang'i, who hired the same foreign lobbyist in July to support their presidential bids. The first for Botswana was successful. Then we wait to see if Matiang'i's bid will be successful in 2027. Now, lastly, from the press review is the Citizen. Tanzania takes its development agenda to the G20 summit that kicks off this week in Brazil. And then also in the National Manifesto, ACT's pledge to voters ahead of the local government polls. And then Kariako, Samia orders checks. The President Samia Suluhu Hassan yesterday ordered for inspection of all commercial premises in Kariako, Dar es Salaam, following Saturday's collapse of a 4-story building which killed 13 people and injured 84 others. Now, Tanzania also shines at Continental event with 25 innovation hubs. That is also with the Citizen, as 36 killed in 2013 disaster. Now, a 16-story building that was under construction came tumbling down on Indara Gadi Street in Dar es Salaam on March 29, 2013, killing 13 people. And this is some bit of the recount after that incident in Dar es Salaam in Kariako over the weekend. And well, that does it for our press review this morning.
Well, before we get into our short break, my main word of encouragement to you two is that you might be rejected by a certain group of people or someone, but never lose hope, because there are other people that will see the value in you. I'm saying this on the background of Adetsina, who was rejected by South Africa in the Miss South Africa pageant and was taken on by her home country, Nigeria, and she ended up becoming first runner-up at the Miss Universe competitions that took place over the weekend. So it takes me back to the Bible, where there was a stone that was rejected and then it became something, the rock upon which a house was built. Now that's my word of encouragement to you this morning. But here is Chandlamo with Omema. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Guess what? It's Monday, the 18th of November, 2024, and we are back to do what we do best. Good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda, and welcome back from the weekend. There was so much conversation happening over the weekend regarding a certain artist, but I won't go into that. I'll go to the United States, where there is a discourse regarding the aftermath of the win of Donald Trump as president. Now, counter accusations are coming up, claiming that Oprah Winfrey was paid $1 million to be able to endorse Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. But also now, more accusations are coming in, especially by Candace Owen, saying that Beyonce was paid about $10 million to attend a Houston rally for Kamala Harris. And Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, has come out and said that her daughter was not paid any money to speak at any rally, that whatever she did it free of charge. And some artists that that performed on some of these rallies, like John Legend, have also come out to say, actually, we were not paid. On the post that was made by Tina Knowles, that account that many people believe is actually Beyonce's account, John Legend responded and said, "Tell them none of us were paid. We performed for free." So that's what's happening in the United States. But here's the thing, no one is looking into who was paid to attend or to perform or to speak at a Donald Trump rally. So why is it that now we are looking into who spoke at Kamala Harris's rally, and why is this very important? Now, I'll give you a hint on why it is very important. In the past, it's been noted that many candidates have misused campaign money. So now it's very important to note how the money was used. Where did the money come from? Was it worth it to pay someone this huge sum of money? Now, for Oprah's case, she says she was not paid as Oprah Winfrey, but she said that her people who worked at the rally had to be paid, and hence the 1 million. So according to Oprah, that money was and only for her staff, not for herself, because she's Oprah, she's a billionaire. What would $1 million do for her? But anyway, I'd like to come back to Uganda, because even here, a lot has been making headlines, even through the weekend. But before we do that, I would like to check on the gentlemen who are right here with me. Good morning, Jerome.
Good morning to you, Olive.
How are you?
I am well, and good morning to our dear viewer who is with us today on the 18th of November. I've also been told that it being the 18th of November, in a leap year, it indicates that we are left with only 43 days to the end of the year. So those who are doing the countdown, they should officially start. Maybe many start the countdown to the end of the year on 1st of December. But here we are, 43 days left till we say goodbye to 2024.
Christmas carols have begun.
And we're only waiting for the radio stations to start playing the Christmas songs that made our childhood memories, because it's around the corner that the radios will be playing those songs. But also, Olive, you've mentioned something about the aftermath of the elections, and it has brought me back to the fact that there are certain celebrities who have decided to get a sabbatical off X.
Yes.
Simply because they were supporting Kamala Harris, and many of them say Elon Musk used the platform to instead push the agendas of Donald Trump, and they feel it is no longer an app that kind of pushes free speech, or kind of gives them the freedom to also exercise what they definitely call democracy and lots of positivity. And the latest to also leave the app this time around, it's not even a sabbatical, but this one says she's completely off it, is Gabriela.
Well, it is time for our news reel, and it is 7 minutes past 7 o'clock. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda's news reel. I'm Olive Monica Najuma. Now, when we speak about technology advancement today, we factor in the advent of social media applications that we have come to depend on for information and for connection with loved ones, but also for business. Now, increasingly, we also see these applications being misused by the youth. You find that sometimes the content they put on these social media apps like TikTok, like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat is rather unpalatable. But regardless, we keep seeing more and more of this content coming through, and one wonders, where do we draw the line? And it's not even just about the content, but it also goes to violations in expressing and exercising our freedom of expression. We end up sometimes violating these spaces. So we have increasing cases of cyber violations, especially on social media, by the youth. We have seen in the news that some people have actually been taken to jail because of cyber violence. We have also seen many people that are facing charges of cyber abuse. And then we have seen, even in the context of the entire world, where cyber violence, cyber abuse has led to cases of death among young people because they could not take the pressure. So that's why we are here today. We'd like to delve deeper into this matter and see how we can find solutions. How do we curb this? Because if we continue with the mishandling of the cyberspace, then we might actually have a bigger problem on our hands. Now I'm having this conversation with Richard Bird Byamukama, who is a lawyer and also a security studies student, who better to make us understand how dire this situation is than someone that is also studying security studies but also a lawyer. So good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Najuma. It's a pleasure to be here with you once again. Good morning, our viewers. Let's share together and see how best we could utilize our cyberspace and the entire social media very productively, as opposed to what is going on. Thank you so much. All
right. Now, Richard, first of all, help us understand what cyber violence stands for.
See, cyber is a broad term to include all technologies or electronic transfer or electronic activities that are being done. This involves electronic transfers, data privacy, encryption, and all that. So the entire cyberspace is a broad term to a broad collection of all those technologies. So violations are those misuse of the cyberspace. So basically, that is the brief meaning of the cyberspace and its violations. So it is a broad term, but according to our major focus, which is social media has been defined by our Computer Misuse Act of 2022, not the other one that was amended by this case of Andrew Karamagi and Robert Saka versus Attorney General. It was a constitutional petition of 2016, but the ruling was of 2022. So there was that Computer Misuse Act of Honorable Nsereko that was passed by Parliament of recent. So it defined social media as a set of technologies to include as a set of technologies that will include Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, X, formerly Twitter, and all those. So according to that act, it also states the offenses that can be committed under these social media channels. So basically, social media became an integral part of our lives. So it is very hard to imagine a life without social media right now.
Sure.
Because we are here, many people are following us through social media handles, YouTube, X, Facebook. So people are following us all over those channels. It is very hard to imagine a life right now currently without social media, because it has brought the world closer to each other. You are here, but it is very easy. I'm here, but it is very easy to send a communication right now to my hometown in Kagadi or to someone in the United States, and the message is conveyed so fast. So that is the basic importance of social media. But according to what is, you see, according to what is going on, social media is being channeled into a source of disinformation and misinformation. Disinformation is where there is deliberate intention of spreading a misleading information, whereas misinformation comes in where someone just spreads it. So we have seen a lot of, cyber bullying coming in. You are seeing those new trends of, where young people go on celebrating the death of government officials on social media. So that is cyberbullying. It creates that, it creates that mental disruptions of the affected persons. So we are seeing a lot of, false accounts. You see, the recent Computer Misuse Act makes it an offense for anyone to spread false information or any other misleading information using false or hidden identity. So under the new Computer Misuse Act, it is now an offense. So the moment I go on X or WhatsApp and I use a proxy account to spread information that could be misleading and all that, false. So when the security apparatus get land onto me, I have created an offense. So we are just seeing a checkered social media, bruised and embattled social media, where everyone comes and spreads misinformation, disinformation, where it is a battle, not a battle of ideas, but a battle of immorality. A battle of immorality. Yes.
Now, Richard, if you may, what recent incidents have occurred in Uganda and maybe also on the international scene that show the rising cases of abuse of the cyberspace, like on TikTok, on Facebook, Snapchat, and maybe Instagram?
Well, disinformation is one of them, but we are seeing most of these targets being aimed at government or government officials or the president himself. Yes, so the most recent attacks, the most recent culprits have been these government officials, either government officials, relatives of government officials, or the president. We have seen last week a young man of early 20s was sentenced to 6 years on each of the counts he had with the courts over hate speech. Hate speech is a new offense which was introduced under the new Computer Misuse Act of 2022. So whenever you spread information that is likely to create that sectarian tendency against someone, so that is hate speech. So we have been seeing these tendencies being going on and monitored, pretending to show that there could be existence of a certain sectarian tendency. That look, you are from this and this region, they tend to categorize us by names. You see, I may be Mukama, but coming from Uganda, or I come from Bunyoro, but our societies may be quite different and all that. The cultures may be different, and I may not be part of government as presumed.
In as much as the tribal lines are there.
Yes, I may be attacked in generality, but not part of the integral government. that could be a target. Yes, so
and that's very important to highlight, because when you look at some of the discourse that occurs on these platforms, people are bundled according to their tribes. People are bundled. If you come from a certain part of the country, then probably you're in bed with so and so who is in government, or if you come from this other part, maybe you hate us. And I think that is really not okay.
Yeah, that is not true, because we cannot, all the people from Western Uganda or from Central Uganda cannot work for, we cannot be employed by government. You see, societies have different problems. So that has been the most recent target, but we are seeing some of the culprits being apprehended. You see, young people should be told, should be informed that you see, development grows at different paces.
Yes.
Yes, we may be from Western Uganda, but we have developed at different intervals.
And Western Uganda is
a very large, yeah. So these attacks, they have been the most recent, but we are seeing a checkered social media, and there could be new policies. This could force government into initiating new policies to counter these new trends of misuse of social media, because you can't ban social media. The creators of it are the ones supposed to ban it, and they have their rights to privacy and all that, because we have seen in the recent elections of 2021, government came out and banned Facebook, but even right now we are being followed on Facebook. So government has no capacity to ban these social media platforms in entirety. Not at all. And it would be a violation of the rights to, association and communication.
So when government banned the use of Facebook, because it has never been reinstated, yes, people are using it, but they have to employ a VPN for them to be able to access Facebook. So are you saying that by so doing that, there was an abuse of the right to association?
Definitely. You see, social media is part of the integral media, the broad media. So the citizens of the entire world are entitled to, a free communication. And in democratic states, a free press, a free media is part and parcel of, democracy.
So why hasn't it been reinstated, in your perspective?
I don't know. That could be above me. Okay. That could be for the Minister of ICT, Honorable Chris Baryomunsi, to answer. But I believe in a free media, a free press, that let people communicate, let people use all media platforms, but in a correct way, in a right way, in a way that does not, create hate speech, that does not disinform or spread false information. We have seen tendencies of, these TikTokers creating content which is useful content. We have seen, social media can be used in a very good way. Creating content which is informative, educative, creating adverts, how to make money. Young people should utilize social media to make money.
To make money. Now, away from the political side of things and the misinformation and disinformation thereof, what other trends among Ugandan youth do you see on TikTok and other platforms that are of concern?
You see, the new trends are a violation of rights to privacy of children, and and other adult persons, because the moment you spread information about against me or about me, which information you don't have, I have not guaranteed you access to, so you have violated my rights to privacy. There is also that increasing violation of social media through spreading, those pornography and leaking, that information that is, sexual. You are seeing those new trends where people go on social media and undress themselves or spread information or content where they are naked. So we have seen social media being used to spread such immorality and other vices of where sexual intercourse. For example, when you follow those social media channels from basically the Western Europe and the United States, you see those new vices where the content being created is gay marriage, homosexuality and lesbianism. So that content is very harmful to the population and the citizenry back here in Africa who believe that homosexuality is an immorality according to the values of the citizens and all that. So we are seeing those new trends, and in a liberalized media, you can't guarantee that you have protected the entire population from accessing all this information. Yes, in a liberalized media. So we really need, government needs to uplift its surveillance of social media, because its government itself is a target.
That's right.
Of being abused, of being attacked through social media. Yes, so all this information is a target against government and all that, and its activities.
Okay. Now, looking at all the violations and the misinformation, disinformation, Richard, what, in your perspective, would you say are the adverse effects of these violations on individuals, families, and the Ugandan society at large?
The adverse effects, you see, the moment you disinform the population,
yes,
you are misleading the information. The moment you create any false information, you are depriving the population, your viewers, the exact information that viewership could have accessed. So disinformation becomes, when disinformation becomes the order of the news in a society, it means the society will all be, will all be deprived of, this becomes worse when this information is targeted against government. So it means the entire population will lack, this information about government services, government programs, and all that. So there is that increasing immorality. Immorality will increase. You have seen most of these young girls have turned to social media to spread that immorality, their sexual parts, and it creates a bad impression to our young girls, to our children, and to the entire population. So they create, it has become a business for them to go on social media to post their sexual parts and body parts.
Who is paying?
Yes.
Who is paying?
So you see, our children.
Yes,
when they get access to these photos, these photos usually trend on social media. You go on X, you open, you see this Annie, Pretty Nicole has posted nudes and all that. This information trends, and it is a worry to our kids. You have kids, I have kids.
Yes. Now, earlier you did mention Uganda's laws regarding cyber violations, cyber bullying, and the like. But how effective are our legal protections that we already have in existence when it comes to online violations?
You see, when the entire online is checkered, you know the meaning of checkered?
Yes.
Bruised and embattled.
Yes.
So it, when you know, when all this immorality is the order of the day, so the cyber management systems may be less ineffective. You can only get a few targets, arrest them, take them to court, but the entire you know, the larger population will remain on social media,
So
spread the same disinformation, use the same false accounts
Yes.
against the government, against the population, and you know, so
where does that leave us as the broader nation?
as you see, we need to work around to be innovative. You see, use restrictive channels, hire other technocrats. You see, when government hires, Chinua Achebe wrote in his book When Things Fall Apart that there was a bird called Eneke. So when hunters learn to hunt without missing, the birds also learn to fly without patching. Yes. So if it becomes inevitable, then government can hire hackers to to hack this into these fake accounts and the racket of communication and all that, because we are going into an election. When people get disinformed during election periods, it is very possible that this information can lead the population into violence.
And the youth are easily impressionable. So if you do not handle what information gets to them. But then, Richard, when we talk about controlling information, and we're limiting freedom of expression, and also here's what I need to hear from you. First, aren't we limiting freedom of expression? But speaking also of freedom of expression, what's the difference between freedom of expression and cyber violations or harassment?
You see, all those work under illegality. You see, you can have freedom of expression, but you violate it through spreading content that is harmful and all that. You see, a liberalized media, as I told you, is part and parcel of a democratic government. But when you disinform, when you spread false information, or you spread pornography, so you're acting under illegality. Like, we live in a free society, but a society full of crime. So there are those legal frameworks to ensure that there is law and order. So likewise, the cyberspace, that there is that there is that freedom to use the cyberspace the way you want, but there is also that law and order that should prevail while using social media. You see, when you follow the Western media, it is very common. Propaganda is a very common tool of those Western powers. The spread, when you go to Western Europe, people will tell you that they don't think that America is really a superpower when you go to Western Europe.
Yes.
Because they usually follow their media from either UK or Belgium, or they don't follow media from the UK. But for us here in Uganda, we follow everything that goes on in America, and and that's why we believe that America is the superpower. Likewise here in Uganda, when these young people outmaneuver the government in propaganda and disinformation, the population, it is very easy for the population to believe that the government is useless, and it convince the Western world that the government is useless, and the call for need to violence and other channels of overthrowing or unseating the government. Yes. So the moment propaganda overpowers the information that the citizens should be you know, getting or accessing. So it is very dangerous in this modern day world. You have seen most of these revolutions that have happened in Egypt, in Sudan, in all over. These revolutions have emerged due to powers of social media and disinformation. Yes, so that's why you have seen.
Well, yes, Richard, unfortunately, I'm going to have to end our conversation here. But maybe in a second, what would be your last word to the youth?
Let's use social media. You see, as I've told you, it has become an integral part. We can make money out of it. Young people have made money out of social media, and we can prosper together with social media. We can live with it. We can enjoy it as opposed to, you know,
misusing it,
going to jail with it.
All right, thank you so much. I've been speaking to Richard Bart Byamukama, who is a lawyer and also a security studies student, on the effects of cyber violence by the youth in Uganda. But we are going to take a short break. Irene Allen Namisango will be coming up next with Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express.